way to do that scale. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Today's live is going to be. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm good, bro. No doubt. Today's live is going to be me running through a piece by Franz Liszt, his Sonata in B minor. Particularly like the opening section to the Sonata in B minor. It's a, for those if you know this piece, you know how monumental this piece is. It's like 30-something minutes long in performance time and roughly almost 40 pages of music to learn, right? So I'm not gonna play all 40 pages today. I'm going to run through the opening section to this piece because it is so powerful, it is so profound, and it just hits here. Because it's like, and I'm gonna do this using my COPET method. For those who don't know what the COPET method is, it stands for the Composer-Oriented Piano Expression and Technique Method. And it helps pianists transform their playing by taking the main focus off of building technique and doing drills, which I'm not saying it's not important, but it puts emphasis on the artistry of learning piano, the artistry of completing classical pieces and all the wonderful things. Sorry about that. As well as give a live demonstration on how to use this method and stuff like that. But anyway, let's jump into it. So everything starts off very dark and ominous. You have a piano dynamic, which means soft. Can you hear me? Hold on. Is it better? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. All right, bet. Hear me? I keep getting calls and stuff like that. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. All right, yes, got you. So COPET method, got you. COPET method, C-O-P-E-T, stands for the Composer-Oriented Piano Expression and Technique Method. And when we talk about composition, it's not necessarily in the sense of composing music and things like that, right? It's more so about using emotional storytelling. Composition is composing your own emotional storytelling that lives in here and here, whether it's something personal, a personal story, something that you've been through, or your own story that's based off of the music that you're playing, right? And what that does is it helps pianists to become one with the music that they're learning, helps them become one with the technique that they're learning, as opposed to just sitting here for hours trying to figure out how to get from measure number 1 to 1,000, right? So there's a whole entire system that I have that I'm going to be breaking down April 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern through Zoom. So if you want information, if you want to join, completely free, DM me the word masterclass and I'll send you all the information so you can register for free. Let's jump into it. So this is the Sonata in B minor using COPET Method. First things first, piano dynamics soft has another thing that says sotto voce, which means with voice, and the tempo is lento assai. So you have these octave dry chords on G. It starts off like this. Then he goes. Getting softer. Off. Then changes. Right? And then now. So let's go back up. Okay, let's start from here. This can be stretched out more. So, like, you know, when I first played this piece, I was just running through the section. But it could be. Instead of playing it so fast, even though that is a fast tempo, is not as fast as I was playing before. Because it brings out more emphasis. And then when you get to this part, so how this melodic development takes place, what are the things you keep in mind to select the interviews of your melodic development? All right, so very good question. All right, now, this is where I'll be using the COPET method. So to read your question again, you said how this melodic development takes place. What are the things you keep in mind? You kept in mind to select the intervals of my melodic development. Okay, so what I did was I came up with my own story attested for me to go with this section right here. So for example, right? And mind you, I played this piece 4 years ago and I'm currently relearning it, right? So in this section right here, it says agitato, it reminds me of a time when, actually, it reminds me of something I'm going through right now, honestly. And it reminds me of a lot of frustration that I'm feeling in life at this current moment, right? So many different things that here and there that's happening that I'm currently feeling, right? And so, with me keeping this in mind to describe this, by the time I get to here, and everything has built to that point right there, I'm essentially like over everything. I'm annoyed, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, right? And everything doesn't resolve until I get to these. chords here, right? So just imagine putting yourself in my story, because we all can relate to this story right here. Frustration, you're trying to accomplish something, you're hitting your head on the wall, you have moments of quitting, you want to quit, but something in you continues to push through while you're still going through it emotionally and things like that, right? So that's what I keep in my mind as I'm going through this whole entire section. So let me play this again. And also another thing, even though I'm frustrated, just because I'm frustrated or annoyed, it doesn't have to be played. No. Everything is building. Frustration doesn't necessarily happen right away. So I'm going to start off soft. And by the time I get to here, bigger sound. If this part of the story is perfect example, what I'm feeling right now, feeling frustrated with whatever's going on, right? And wanting to quit, but still pushing through, right? That's that mental toughness. So it's like a battle between wanting to give up and knowing you have to push through. Everybody in here can relate to that, right? So now by the time we get to this main melody, we have... Also, another thing is this. There's two melodies contrasting against one another, so it fits perfectly. You have this melody right here. It's hard to play with one hand, but... Where is it? It goes... Two contrasting melodies. Two simultaneous thoughts battling one another, right? Of course, I have to work on this part. B-flat major. The way you're selecting notes for your melody, you also know that this interval will sound sad. This will sound happy. Example like major third. Yep. Exactly. Especially when it comes to... Now we have arrived at a very bright, beautiful sound, right? We have transitioned from being frustrated and wanting to give up, that battle within, right? And then now we have arrived at something really beautiful and happy. So now for me, what this means is that I finally found the answer to whatever I was frustrated with. So now we have exuberating confidence, right? So again. before I move forward, let's describe, again, using my COPET method, the COPET method, what was going on in my head when I was playing this really challenging octave section. Once again, like I explained, we arrived here in the key of B flat major, a brighter sound, because I finally found what I was looking for to help me push through. And then, what is it? Right? Everything that you hear now is moving with confidence with whatever I'm working towards. So now that's what these octaves here are. Difference because he goes from B flat major to this relative minor of G minor. How do you do this? Let me look at the music. Hold on. We are here. A B da da da. No, not there. What is this? Okay, we're here. Right. So now we're in the key of G minor. What this symbolizes is now on your journey that now you finally, reach whatever pinnacle that you've reached, right? That you're attempting to reach, that you finally got there. Most people think that once they get to that mountaintop, that there's not going to be any turmoil, that everything is just going to be smooth sailing. No, that's not how life works. Life throws lemons at you. So now I think back to the times where, perfect example. This piece right here, I performed this 4 years ago, right? I learned it, happy, ready to go, ready to perform it. I perform, I'm in the middle of the performance, and then I make a huge mistake. I completely drew a blank of what I was performing, of what I was playing, right? And back then, it was because of nerves and stuff like that, right? So in the middle of the performance, luckily it was a slow part that I drew a blank. I had to repeat to come forward, right? So that just goes to show that even when you reach that pinnacle of success, whatever that looks like for you, there comes that time where life is going to happen, and there might be a little dip or whatever. I enjoyed it. You did great. Thank you. Right? There might be a little dip that happens right there. Now, this is what determines whether you can push through or not. Because most people, when they're here and they're at the high and they start to decline, they panic, right? Which is a human emotion. But while you're panicking, you still have to remain calm. You still have to push through, right? So you can get to that pinnacle of success and then push through there, right? So now that's what this whole entire thing he does here. That's what this symbolizes. Now in the key of E flat major. Look at the music. This is so hard to do while I'm talking. We have reached the pinnacle of success, right? Now we're in the bass. You just shifted to the relative minor to show the motion that we are not still over yet. So, yes, I shifted to the relative minor, right? And you said to show the emotion that we are still not over yet. Yes, right, because now you're contrasting. You're going from happy to sadness, right? What's this? Freedom is waiting for you. Thank you. How you doing? So, yes, you're going from something happy to now you're going to something sad, turmoil, especially when it came to this part. Right? Now, this right here, diminished chords, diminished octaves coming down the piano, right? And coming down the piano as well symbolizes what? What do you think it could symbolize? It could symbolize so many different things along with my story, right? Once again, reaching the pinnacle of success, and then life happening, and then pummeling all the way down. So now you're here. Softer. Right, before I move forward, that section right here, you're all the way down here, right? Emotionally, and life is lifing, right? And you don't know how you're gonna get through, right? That's why you hear this. Is it necessary to play on lower octaves to show the emotion of tension, suspense? Because I saw you doing the same. So it really depends on what you're playing here, right? Because this is not something I've composed. This is a piece by Franz Liszt. So it really depends. You can play all the way down here in the lower part of the piano, lower octaves and things like this, right? But you can also have tension here, depending on what chords you're playing and stuff like this. You can have tension up here, and also as well as dynamic wise too. You can have that type of tension, right? You can have a softer type of tension. Especially if something precedes it where it's something happy. Really bright and beautiful, all of a sudden. Tension, right? Here, what Liszt did was right? But then he changes the melody to something more hopeful. Chris, what's good, bro? He adds this D, A, B flat chord to give tension, but also a sense of hope, of hopefulness. Listen. Inversion. What's the chord? Wrong. Hold on. Fire for that. Let's look at the music. Okay. No, don't close. No. Okay, let's look at this again. So here we are. And everything, all right, so everything starts to build. Transitioning from turmoil to triumph, to success, right? To confidence, to bravura, to maestoso, to bigger, grander sound, right? Let's go back. So we have, come on. Doing? Sorry. Come on, Cliff. How do you forget this? Okay. All right, here we go. Not a problem. Not a problem. Yo, this is and that's exactly why I created the COPET Method, because luckily, in my experience, I've only had 2 teachers in my life, and they both were like, my first teacher was, might as well say still to my teacher to this day. I pick her brain all the time. Mr. Lila, Russian teacher, straight from Russian conservatory. Our first lesson, she could tell that like I felt music, and her whole entire sessions for 8 years of me studying with her was all about not just technique wise, interpretation wise, emotion wise. How do we bring out what lives in here out into the piano, right? I just took it a step further and put emotional storytelling with it, right? But it was a lot of heavy emphasis on how do you shape a sound? What is your touch on the piano? As opposed to just, hey, yo, here's a piece. Okay, stay on tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, do this again. No, that's cool. And I'm not saying that like in my when I coach people, when I coach pianists, yes, there are a lot of times where we have to work on the fine tuning of pieces, right? But even then, I give you drills, I give you insight on how to break this music down so that it's more manageable for whoever I'm coaching, right? So there's gonna be times where, yes, you have to do the fine work. You can't escape it. The same way that I drew a blank, I don't remember this, and you see me bring out my music, it's the same thing in my coaching, right? And then there's a lot of emphasis, of course, on interpretation, because if you could understand what you're trying to interpret and be one with the piece, when it comes time to performance, the whole entire sense of being overly anxious and falling on your face when you're on stage, it tends to go out the window. It brings more confidence. It helps you to exuberate more confidence when you're performing. I can tell you how many times, I've been playing 24 years, and my first 10, 12 years, I had a hard time with performing because I knew how I wanted to shape certain pieces, but then when you have certain type of teachers who, now you got to stay in this box, right? It messes with you performance-wise, right? And then I remember with my second teacher when I was in college. I'm going to get back to this music. Just want to toss you out for a second. We were studying, what's the piece called? The Dante Sonata by Franz Liszt. Our session was an hour long. We spent an hour on the first page because she wanted me to play it in tempo, and I told her, no, it's supposed to be played interpretively, right? I'll play a little bit of it. She wanted me to play like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1. That is fucking boring. Keeping it 100. Instead, wait. Big difference between staying on tempo, cut and dry, especially when you're playing Liszt, especially when you're playing music that is so interpretive, versus putting your own interpretation in the music. Which composer's pieces do you suggest to study music composition / melodic development for me as a piano beginner composer? Oh yes, very good question. Bach, for sure. Bach sounds completely different and better with rubato. Exactly. I would say, to answer your question, I would say Bach. I would say Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. A lot of classical era composers. Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. So you can get like a lot of foundation and see how they structure their music. Then if you want to go further, I would say Chopin, of course. Analyze how he shapes melodic lines. Even analyze his form of how he does certain pieces. When he does like his nocturnes at times, from what I know, 'cause I don't really play a lot of Chopin, but when you have this just jump into it. It goes. This is a staple in this left hand. You'll see things like this in his music, or even in his Fantasia Impromptu. Motif in his left hand. Study as many composers as you can, especially like your favorite composers, and really start analyzing what is the main motif that they use in a lot of their music. With Liszt, it's diminished chords, chromaticism, chromatic harmonies, arpeggios, crazy scales, octaves, big technique, right? That's a staple across a lot of his music. So if you play this piece, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see some type of motif in another set of pieces that he has. What to keep in mind to analyze a piece as a composer? I noticed rhythmic motifs, good. Melodic motifs and common interval pattern, very good. You said what to keep in mind to analyze a piece as a composer. To add to that, you said you notice rhythmic motifs, melodic motifs, and common interval patterns, right? To add to that, I would say notice what key you're in, right? Whether it modulates to different keys. Notice what's the form of the piece? Is it an ABA format? Is it sonata form? Is it rondo form? What patterns do you see in the music? Where is this person repeating a motif, either octave lower or octave higher, or in a different key? All of these different things. So I would say, again, I gave you a lot of stuff, just a lot of shit just now. I would start off with the motifs. What main ideas do you see in the music that they use, that the composer uses? What key you're in? Recognize what patterns is in the music. Recognize if there's any key changes. And what else? What's another one? Tempo and all that good stuff as well. Right? So, going back to this music. I kind of got off tangent. So, we said, again, going back to the Franz Liszt Sonata in B minor, right? We ended here. He said that this melody, I said this melody gives a sense of awakening that now you finally are pushing through and now everything is building. What's coming next? You slow down and you modulate to D major. And everything is not as fast as what I played before because now we're showing triumphantness, we're showing regalness, we're showing royalty. softer. Loud sound. Do you know the one that takes it off? No, I do not know that song. And that's your opening section of your whole entire sonata in B minor. As we move forward through this beautiful, lyrical, beautiful piece, right? I'll play another part. You have this. How do I forget this? Again, do this again. Here it is. How to play this. This is bad. Again. Rush. Beautiful playing, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so that beautiful section right here that I completely butchered. Cantando espressivo, which means singing like and with expression, right? And then the l'accompanimento, I can't believe I'm trying to speak Italian, but that's what it says here. La accompanimento. This is hilarious. What? L'accompanimento, right? Piano. The accompaniment is soft, and when we're talking about, thank you, I appreciate it. When you talk about the accompaniment, that's everything else besides the main melody. So main melody is yum ti ti tum ta ti da ti da ta. Really beautiful melody, right? Everything else has to be softer except for your bass line. So you have Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, using COPET method, and also I know what you call it. He did say something else. Why can't I scroll up? Oh my lord, that's crazy. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, that's what he said. F sharp minor chord depicts royalty when played with good dynamics. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have noticed. Okay, that's good though. That I don't think that's wrong. And like you said, if you're playing it with really great dynamics, and it's not a punching sound or a piercing sound, right? For sure, that's definitely correct. Your dynamics always ties into your emotional storytelling. That's the easiest way. The way I coach students, the easiest way to develop your dynamics or to work on your dynamics and pair it to the story that you came up with for the piece. Pooji said, how many years of experience do I have, twin? I've been playing 24 years. November makes 25 years I've been playing piano, right? Is it? 25 years, almost 25 years of playing classical piano. So, yeah. That's what it is. Yep. Okay, let's go to a different piece. Let's go to a different piece. I can't wait to play this. This is gonna be so fire. And it goes. That gives me like a time in my life when I was, as a kid, trying to sneak around and steal cookies out of my grandmother's cookie jar that she used to have in the kitchen and try not to get caught. It felt like mission impossible as a kid. This describes it perfectly. Because think of it like this. I'm supposed to be sleeping, right? It's 12 midnight. My grandmother's up watching TV in her room. My grandmother had no lie, she had supersonic hearing. Love how spontaneous. Thank you. She had damn near had supersonic hearing. So I had to sneak around to get to the kitchen, open the cookie jar, and let me give you even more insight. Think of you have your cookie jar like this, right? And the cover only covers here, like right in here, right? It doesn't cover the whole edge. If it covered the whole entire edge of the cookie jar, when you pull it, it will be easier to take out. But because there's space, if you touch, it will rattle. The cover will rattle along the glass. So you have to carefully take it out while you're looking over your shoulder and putting it down, and then take the cookies. But then you have to unravel the paper. It was a whole entire mission impossible. So this section right here describes it. You have no. Like that symbolizes me sneaking into the kitchen. And then and let the game begin. Yes, it is. Yeah. What the hell are you playing? That's what it still gives me trouble. inspection part right here. I finally have the cookies, right? What's up? How you doing? The kitchen story was hilarious. I can't scroll up. Why can't I scroll up? Why can't I scroll up? I know somebody wrote something that was talking about my story. Okay, next. And then that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a one and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and Next, chromaticism, fourths down. Next, X. Okay. I play piano. I'm self-taught. I can barely read music. Okay, cool. How long have you been self-taught as a pianist? And also, like, what's your ultimate goal as a pianist? Next, we have. What are the key insights I can take from this live session as a beginner piano composer? You play so beautifully that I'm overwhelmed. Sneaking to kitchen story was hilarious. Oh, thank you for posting that again. Hi from Brazil. What's up? What are the key insights you can take from this live session as a beginner piano composer? The most important thing as a composer is not what other people think about what you create. That is like the key. The key right there. What you compose, if people are going to help you in a positive, in a constructive way, then take that type of advice. When people say, oh, this sounds terrible, this sounds like shit, this sounds like this, that, and the third, those are the people that you stay away from. Because those are the people that's not meant to see your vision, right? You as the composer, everything that comes out of you that lives in here and here needs to be brought into your composition. That's the most important thing. Once you understand that, if you follow that to the letter, no matter what people are going to say about your composition, it's going to fall on deaf ears, unless it's constructive criticism and it's going to help you in a way to become better. That's number one. That's law. Number two, to take from this live, put your own story, of course, put your own story in it, as well as beginner composer, work on your technique so that you will not. Oh, that's another big thing. Oh yes. Okay, let's do this. Let's jump into this, because I'm a composer as myself, and I remember in my early years when I was first playing piano and learning and stuff like that, and composing as well. One of the things that killed me was I had so many ideas in my head that I could not play on the piano, and that is the most frustrating thing as a composer. If you have all these ideas and you don't have the skill to play, right? Or if you're lucky enough, you can write something that's above your level and have somebody else play it for you. But there's nothing like having the joy of being able to play your own composition. So to remedy that, I would suggest that if you're not studying with a teacher, or even if you're studying on your own, work on your technique. Learn all 53 scales, and even those 53 scales, you begin to understand that how these scales are interlocking with one another. So 53 scales sounds a lot, but it's really not. Learn your scales, learn your theory, learn the chord progressions in these scales. Whatever chord progression you do in C major, you can do in the key of C sharp major. 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord. Learn your fundamentals. Learn the drills so that you have no limitations on what you can play. And then the other thing to take away from this live, what's another thing you can take away from this live? All right, you have to you gotta have an unshakable belief in yourself. There's gonna be times, because I'm currently going through some stuff right now where confidence at times wavers. But at the same time, I know what that goal is that I'm reaching, that I'm striving for, right? You have to have an unshakable belief in self, as well as an ultimate goal of what you want to accomplish as a composer. What does that look like for you? Be clear on that. And no matter what happens along life, you keep working towards it. And you're gonna have moments where it's like this, and that's perfectly fine. But as long as you're swimming upstream to that goal, that is the most important thing that matters. So those are the things to take away from the live. Quick recap, not in this order. Number one, have that ultimate goal in your life that you want to complete as a composer. Number two, learn fundamentals, theory, improve your technique so that there's no limitations of what you want to do. And last but not least, everything that you compose comes from here and here. Put it on the piano, write it down, and understand that along your journey, there's going to be a lot of people who don't see your vision, and that's totally fine. You see your vision, that's what matters. All right, I can't scroll up. What the hell is going? This is bullshit. Why the hell I can't scroll up? Like, I know, who was it? Somebody that's from Brazil. Oh, hello, Quell. Hello from Brazil. I think it was Alan. I think it was you that said something earlier, but I cannot scroll up. I can't see the previous messages for whatever reason. It won't let me scroll up. So if I did not answer your questions, please rewrite them again so I can see it. Because I want to answer your questions and stuff like that. Okay, next. Let's see. That's what it was. Somebody asked, Leonardo, hello from Brazil. Nice. I'm glad to see. Yo, it's really crazy and really amazing that my content is reaching the world. Like, I'm really grateful. Those from Brazil, those from India, nice. Hello, a pleasure to meet you. I'm in New York City. Hello from New York City. Hello world, right? What was I gonna say though? So that's what it was. Somebody asked tips for Fantasia Impromptu by Chopin. So I'm guessing India, Asia, nice. So I'm guessing I don't know who it was, but if you're struggling with the Fantasia Impromptu, it's probably those hemiolas. And that, especially in that piece, is 4 notes against 3 in the left. This is my right hand. It looks like my left, but this is my left hand, right? You have 4 notes against 3. And if you look closely at the quad versus the triplet, this is how they line up. The first notes, groups of notes line up together. The second group of the 4, the quad. The second note of the triplet. Third note of the quad. Third note of the triplet. Fourth note of the quad. It comes like this. So the question becomes, well, how does one... And I never played this piece before. I should have learned it, but I'm not going to learn it. So look, when it comes to this, you have to keep in mind that the beginning of every single group of ones line up. So if I ever learn this piece, I would focus on, and then the start of the second measure lines up with D sharp and E in the bass, D sharp in the right hand with E in the bass. goes to B major. I'm trying to play it by ear. Beautiful piece. Yes, if those who are struggling with that, Fantasia Impromptu has triplets and semiquavers simultaneously, which means it's challenging. What makes it challenging for you? Yes. So if you line up the beginning of every single group, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and you just fit in whatever you're gonna fit in, you're gonna be able to do it. Let me tell y'all something. Was that a fucking? Hold up. No. Okay, let me tell you something. So, when it comes to hemiolas, right? Your favorite pianist tends to cheat, unless it's something that is slow and deliberate, like something that's at a slower tempo. 9 times out of 10, your favorite pianist, your favorite classical performer, they are going to cheat because of the fact that the most important thing when it comes to hemiolas is lining up ones. Let me give you an example. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do 3 against 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's supposed to be played 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if I play it faster, you're not gonna be able to hear the hemiola. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You don't hear this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No. You hear. You know? So. All right. Your boy has to go. I have to get ready to go. Real quick before I go. For those, April 9th, I'm hosting a free masterclass live through Zoom, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be covering 5 reasons why serious classical pianists, serious pianists in general, they practice tremendously. They're faithful. They're doing the work. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why they end up plateauing or why they never get better. This masterclass is something that you don't want to miss, especially if you're somebody who is tired of being in that same spot. You know that spot where you know you're putting in the work, you're being diligent, but it seems like nothing you can do, it's not working. So if you're interested in joining this free masterclass that's happening April 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern, DM me the word masterclass and I'm going to send you the information so you can register. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be dope. You get to really see and how I break down music and how I help, and how I help pianists that I coach become even greater pianists and release that frustration that they be feeling when they're trying to get better, right? Release that whole entire feeling of wanting to quit, right? Just like, I'm really glad I'm going to be doing this because I know firsthand what it's like to sit at this piano and you're freaking trying to get from point A to point B and it's just immediate frustration. And then I'll tell you real quick story. Before I found my COPET method, right? I would study pieces, and then I would just literally, at times, just take this music and throw that shit across the room. Because I could not figure out why I was not getting better. And it wasn't until I found my COPET method and started using it myself that my growth became exponential throughout the roof. So again, if you're interested in my masterclass that's happening April 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern, DM me the word masterclass and I'm gonna send you all the information. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love y'all. Take care. All that good stuff. God bless. Can I have a favorite composer like Bach? Or is it illegal to have a favorite composer for me as a beginner? No. Never illegal. You can have a favorite composer that you really vibe with, that you really like, you know? So there's no limits or rules to this. I have Franz Liszt is my favorite composer. I also like Rachmaninoff, but Franz Liszt does it for me. All right? So, later. Take care. I'm gonna holla at y'all.